All right, so what is operations management? As I was doing research, as well as getting some definitions from other members of the class, the best definition that I came up with is operations management is the management of processes that take raw materials into finished goods, also including the final delivery to the customer, as well as with feedback. That is one of the main parts of operations management that a lot of people might forget about or that they don't know about it, is that to have successful operations management, you need to have that feedback loop that's always constantly improving the process. Going a little bit along with operations management, everything that we do in operations ties back into our business strategy. Business strategy varies from industry to industry and from business to business, but there are 4 different operations objectives that apply to each business. Those are cost, quality, speed, and flexibility. We'll go into a little bit more detail into each of those. First, cost. So cost is the end result of doing everything else right. If you have efficient processes, if you have good quality, if you're cutting down on the need for labor, you're going to be saving costs and be able to provide your product at a much lower rate than anybody else. Walmart does a great job of this. They're the cheapest in pretty much everything that you go to buy there, and that's where they compete the most. Moving on to quality, a quote from an academic journal that I read is, "Quality will still be job number 1 moving into the future." Quality is very important. I'd just like to share this quote here real quick. "Productivity can frequently be improved as quality is improved and as waste declines, either by changes in product design or by changes in materials or processing." Rolex is an example of a very high quality watch company. There's also things like Mercedes-Benz, McLaren. They have a very tight niche because they have the highest quality, and that's why people buy their products over other products. Moving on to speed. Speed is essential. We'll get a little bit more into that later on in the presentation, but McDonald's opened up a whole new field just by being able to cut down the time that is needed to be able to make a hamburger. They're the fastest out of anybody. Now there's a lot of people that have copied that operations objective to be the fastest. Amazon is also another great example of speed. They have everything to your door within 2 days with Amazon Prime, and other competitors just can't compete with that kind of speed. The last one is flexibility. There's some companies, these are more job shop or batch type operations that have a lot more flexibility than, say, a mass bred manufacturer. A couple examples that I came up with here are Lilja Rifle. They do custom barrels for all their different customers. Zach Brown's Southern Grind, they're a custom knife company. I actually own one of their knives. I got to pick which handle, which blade, serrated, not serrated. Very custom, also a lot more money, typically in the flexibility, but that's their part of the market. Moving forward, operations is all about improving the process. I talked about that feedback in the beginning, and the feedback is so important. In every operations or supply chain that we have, there's always going to be some sort of bottleneck. A bottleneck is the slowest part of your process. Your operations can only be as fast as your slowest process. So a bottleneck analysis is figuring out why there is that slowing of the process, and then what you can do to improve that. One example of improving a bottleneck is, it's called the drum buffer rope method. That's where you allow the bottleneck, or also known as the drum, to always be running. And then you have a buffer in front of that, and then you have all the other processes that go. This allows for that bottleneck to keep running and keep producing so that the supply chain isn't crippled because of how slow that process is. Constant improvement, just kind of piggybacking off that last slide, constant improvement is key in operations. There's a couple of quick quotes I'd like to share. Tom Davis said that understanding the impact of variability in the system is the goal of modern inventory control theory. Inventory is a huge part of the supply chain and applies to the improvement. As well as a TED Talk by Jess Cooch, she said that business leaders should embrace when workers conflict with policies and decisions. It's very important in the workforce and in the workplace to accept those different feedbacks that you get from your employees, because they're the ones there on the front line. They know what can be improved and how it can be improved. There's a bunch of different uncertainties that we have in the product line, the supply chain, and in operations. Those uncertainties are opportunities for growth, and we need to see them that way. Effective operations equals more money for your company. That's why operations is so important. It's surprising how many CEOs actually have a basis in operations because of how valuable it is. Just one last quote for you. It is showing that how sales growth relates to lead time. And while I'm obliged to say that correlation is not causation, it seems pretty clear that it is good to be fast. Firms with shorter lead times have distinctively higher sales growth. It's exponential. As we improve our processes, as we're more efficient, our sales growth is going to increase. Customers are going to be more satisfied with higher quality, lower cost, more flexibility, and it's just going to get that to them faster. Thank you.